Hi everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
A very good evening to all of you. So I'm hoping that all of you have been solving and doing the needful. Okay. Chalo. So today's session is right. Today's session is, have you solved the question paper for today? So let me put it this way. How many of you have solved the question paper for today? Those who have solved, please let me know in the chat or by raising your hand. Neil, Shantanu, Hitansh, very happy to see all of you, participate and solve it. So let's quickly get going. Okay. Now, as compared to 2020, what is your take about this paper? What do you feel as compared to 2020 paper? How was this paper? Before we start with the session, QA short answer 2020 versus QA short answer 2021. Did you find that easy or difficult while you were solving it? Then we'll see at the end whether it was so okay, quite easy as compared to 2020. Neil is saying this is harder than 2020. Okay. Snigdha easier. Hitansh says almost the same. Okay. So I would request your participation as we go ahead with the session. Today we are at the 3rd of June and we are doing this session today. So now we are done with the 2020 paper completely. We are into 2021 paper now. So 2021 paper would be completed in 3 sessions. Today, tomorrow, Sunday would be a break, Monday and Tuesday. So today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow and the day after that. So 3 days you would have already solved the entire paper. Now, what we'll discuss here is we'll discuss the short answer section, but hoping that all of you would also participate in the mock solving sessions. Okay, chalo, let's quickly get going. So this paper, again, I'm hoping that all of you who have joined today have solved it. QA short answer 2020-21. What was the paper pattern? Or what was the sectional time limit or whatever? So number of questions, total questions were 10. Time limit was time limit 30 minutes. And what else? Do you know the cutoff for 2016 2021? Sorry, what was the cutoff for 2021? The cutoff was 16. It means the paper was okay. As far as the cutoff is concerned, the cutoff had gone down, so that showed that the paper could have been slightly difficult. However, we will come to our own conclusion at the end. Okay, and at the end we will also decide what would be a good score or good attempts, okay, in this kind of a paper. All right, so let's get started with the question paper. Question number 1. How do we solve such a question? Now, again, I'm not putting a timer today, but the idea would be that, we'll solve questions in the first go if I feel that it is, easy or doable. So yeah, before I go ahead, one more explanation. I found a lot of students who are scoring good marks, come down to 80, 90 or even 100 overall score. Okay. the scores have gone drastically down for some of the students in the mock tests. I believe, you are kind of getting nervous, or you are going inside with a preconceived notion that you have to get these many marks or this much score. So focus for today would be that we kind of attempt the easy questions first, and then in the second round do the slightly difficult questions. So this one, the number of positive integers which divide 1890 into 130 into 170 and are not divisible by 45 are how many? Now, as I think about it, slightly lengthy question. I'll have to, I don't know a direct method here to find out numbers which are not divisible by a certain factor. Okay, I'll keep this for round 2. I realize that I might have to calculate factors twice, so I keep this for round 2. Okay. The sum up to 10 terms of the series 1 into 3, 5 into 7, 9 into 11. Okay, if I can see the difference is 4, 4. The difference here is also 4 and 4. I think I'll be able to write the series in terms of 4n. So if I look at the series, this should be written in terms of 4, this should be written in terms of 8, this should be written in terms of 12, and so on. So if I think of it, 4 minus 3, 8 minus 3, 12 minus 3. So I realize this number can be written, this is the first term of each, the first multiple factor of each term can be written as 4n minus 3. 4 into 1, 4 minus 3, 4 into 2, 8 minus 3, 4 into 3, 12 minus 3. So this one is 4n minus 3. The next number is 2 more than that. So can I say this is nothing but 4n minus 3 plus 2? So that is nothing but minus 1. I think if I write it this way, I'll get an easy Tn, and I know the summation formulae, so I should be able to do this question. Again, the definition of easy for the short answer section, because you have 10 questions and 30 minutes and you're going to leave some questions, you have ample amount of time. So I feel that this question is doable. Okay, so I'll do this in my first attempt. 4n 16n square, 4n minus 1 and 4n minus 3. So that will be 4n into minus 4, that is minus 16n, and plus minus 1 into minus 3, that is 3. If this is Tn, Sn is nothing but summation of 16n square from 1 to 10 plus summation of minus the summation of 16n from 1 to 10 plus summation of 3. Summation of 3 is nothing but 3 into summation of 1. So this would be, again, I can take the 16 common from first two terms. So 16 common. This would be n into n square, in n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 the whole by 6. So here n is 10. So this would be 10 into 10 plus 1, 11 into 2 into 10, 20 plus 1, 21 the whole by 6, minus this one would be 16 into, okay, 16 I've taken common, so that will be 10 into 11, n into n plus 1 by 2, and 3 is added 10 times, so that would simply be 30. And I just need to do the calculations quickly now. Okay, 3 goes 2 times, 3 goes 7 times. 10 into 11 by 2 is common, 10 into 11 by 2, and 7 minus 1. So this would, the difference would be 6. So ultimately what we have is 16 into 10 into 11 into 7 minus 1. 7 times minus 1 times. So 6 times the whole by 2 plus 30. Let's quickly do the calculation. 2 goes once, 2 goes thrice. 16 into 3, 48. 48 into 11, 480 plus 48, 528. So 5280 plus 30. Answer should be 5310. I hope my calculations are right. Sometimes I do mistakes in calculation, but I hope that I've done the calculations correct. Okay, right? Can we not use the sum of AP method for this question? Manoj, Arjun, sorry. How would you use that? I'm not very sure. So I hope this method is clear. And if you are comfortable with the summation formulae, You should be able to do this question very quickly. And you should be comfortable writing those terms very quickly. Okay. How to distinguish that dot is not a decimal point? Well, generally the dot, when it is intended to be a multiplication, it should be as 1. The dot is generally in between 1.3 and this one is 1 into 3. Maybe they, while putting it on paper, okay, while putting it on paper, maybe that point has come here, but ideally the decimal point, you should be able, basically in the paper, hoping that you should be, you should be able to differentiate between the decimal point and the multiplication. Shantanu, can you unmute? What I didn't get your question.
No, sir, I was just saying, like, while I was solving the question, I couldn't form it in terms of n the way you did, 4n minus 3, 4n minus 1. Well, because I tried for a few, that's what. So, like,
I've come across a lot of questions of this type, Shantanu. And what I've realized is if the difference is 4, basically it is related to multiples of 4. You will always be able to write each term in terms of multiples of 4 because this difference was 4. So how can I write 1 in terms of 4 into 1? Because ultimately we are looking for, trying to write 1 in terms of 1 and some multiple of 4. 5 in terms of 2 because this is the second term, right? This is the T2. So we want to write 5 and 7 with respect to 2, and also using the fact that there's some difference of 4, so multiples of 4 would be involved. This is T3. So I need to write 9 and 11 again using the common logic across all the terms. How do I write that? That's the logic. So generally, if the difference is 4, you need to write each term in terms of multiples of 4, like 4 into 1 se kya hai wo. So just to give you an example, let me, if you understood what I just told, say you can tell me how would you write say 7 plus or say 7, wait, how do you write 7 into 8 plus 10 into 11 plus 13 into 14 and so on till n terms? How do you write a general Tn for this now? If you understood what we were doing, what I was trying to tell you.
so 3n minus 2 into 3n minus 1.
No, so this is the first term. So I want to write 7 with respect to 1, but also the difference is 3. So there'll be multiples of 3 involved. Just do a 3 into 1, that will be 3, but 7 is 4. 3 plus 4. Similarly, this is 3 into 2, 6 plus 4. 3 into 3, 9 plus 4, right? So can I say,
understood.
So can I say here the Tn would simply be 3n plus 4 into 3n plus 5. Makes sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, chalo, moving on. So this was the first question that we did. This was for me a type A question. The third question. Guys, need your participation here. What would you do if you look at this question? Should we do it or not do it? Sequence satisfies x1 is 0 and xn plus 1 is xn plus 1 plus 2 under root of 1 plus xn. Should we solve it or not? Right. So whenever you have sequence based questions, see if you are able to identify a pattern by substituting at least a few values first. If you find a pattern, do it. If you don't find a pattern, don't do it. So x of 1 is 0. What would be x of 2? Now you should be able to quickly substitute. X of 2 would be x of 1 plus twice of 1 plus twice under root 1 plus xn. So x of 1 is 0 plus 1 plus 2 times under root of 1 plus 0, that is 1. So 1 plus 2 root 1, that is 1 plus 2, and this would come out to be 3. X3. Now these calculations should be a little fast and should be mental, orally done or mentally done. If you're writing every step, then it will take a lot of time in the exam and you won't be able to complete the paper. Okay. So X3, okay, X3 would be X2. So X2 is 3 plus 1, 4. 4 plus 2 times under root of 1 plus 3. So 1 plus 3 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. 2 into 2 is 4. So 4 plus 4, the total comes out to be 8. Similarly, X of 4, quickly again, 8 plus 1, 9. 8 plus 1, 9. So can you see that whatever is outside over here is there inside also? So and all these numbers are for some reason coming out to be whole square only. Okay. So you'll notice that this is nothing but this is 9. 9 square root of 9 is 3. 2 into 3, 6. 6 plus xn plus 1, that is 6 plus 3, 6 plus 9. This is 15. Any trend, any pattern here? Plus 3, plus 5, plus 7. Or yes, the difference is increasing by 2. Whenever the difference is increasing by, or whenever the difference is in an AP, the terms would be in terms of a quadratic, or in terms of would have some quadratic relation involved. If you if your observation is further sharp, you would be able to notice 1 minus 1, 4 minus 1, 9 minus 1, 16 minus 1. So the next term would be 25 minus 1, that is nothing but 5 square minus 1. Next term would be 6 square minus 1. So we wanted the 31st term, so that would be the 31st term would be 31 square minus 1, which is nothing but 961 minus 1, and hence the answer would be 960. Now, because we are able to identify a pattern over here, we should, because we are able to get some pattern, we did this and we got the answer. Sometimes what happens is when you start this question, in between you will find that there you're not, the numbers become very big, or you're not finding a pattern. In such cases, the best thing is look for something else. Maybe substituting the numbers and getting individual terms would not be possible, or you may come back to it later if you're not able to find any other way which is suiting the question. Okay, any questions or any doubts here? So second type A question. So 2 questions are done. Probably you would have taken 5 minutes to solve the 2 questions till now. Okay. 5 parallel lines on a plane, and there are, on the same plane, there are n other lines which are perpendicular. Number of distinct rectangles formed by these is 360. What is the value of n? Okay. Now what about this one? There are 5 parallel lines on the plane. On the same plane, there are n other lines. Okay. So 5. I don't know how many other lines. Okay. Now, when you see this question, see again, coming back to it, coming back to the basis, which topic is this from? First, and the first thing that should click to, that you should see over here is which topic is this? Which chapter is this question from? You've done this, so you know that you should know that this is permutations and combinations. And when you have some set of parallel lines and another set of perpendicular lines, and you're trying to find out rectangles require 2 parallel lines, two lines in one plane, basically one set of one pair of parallel lines and another set of perpendicular lines, one pair of perpendicular lines and one pair of parallel lines. And if you have these 2 pairs, it will form a rectangle, right? So out of the 5 lines, I need any 2, and out of these n lines also I need any 2, and hence the number of rectangles would be equal to 5c2 into nc2. This question must be solved. So as soon as if this clicks to you, then you should solve this question. If this does not click to you, you should not solve the question. For me, my assumption is that my students should, for my students, this should be a simple question. Okay, so that is why you should definitely do it. Just 1 second, now, guys. I think I need to do start this on YT. 1 second, now, guys. Really sorry about it. Can anyone confirm if this is live on YouTube? Okay, I think this has gone live on a different link. Just let me change that, okay? Guys, just give me 1 second. I'll just turn off the video. All right, I'm really sorry here. I thought I was speaking to you all this while. So that was taking a little time, the YouTube stream. I'm really sorry, but yeah, I'll come back to what I was discussing here. Okay. So if you anyone, should I start this question from the beginning, or is everyone clear till here, till this point? That you know the number of rectangles would be equal to nc2 into mc2, where n and m are the number of horizontal lines and the number of vertical lines respectively. Okay. So abhi iske baad what next? You just have to simplify this. 5c2 is 5 into 4 by 2 into nc2 means n into n minus 1 by 2, and the total number of rectangles was 360. 2 and 2 gets cancelled. Now what I was mentioning here was, instead of solving this as a quadratic, you should be able to quickly judge the numbers. 5 cancels and this becomes 72. So 72 is equal to n into n minus 1. Can you think of two consecutive numbers, because n and n minus 1 are two consecutive numbers? So can you think of two consecutive numbers whose multiplication is 72? That is simply 9 into 8. N is the bigger number and n minus 1 is the smaller number. So 9 into 9 minus 1, that is 8, and therefore n should be equal to 8. N should be equal to 9. I'm sorry. Right? So again, if you instead of if you would have solved the quadratic, you would have taken a slightly longer time. So therefore, you should try and solve, try and do it a little, this way, in order to, if you want to kind of improve on your speed. There are two taps, T1 and T2, at the bottom of a water tank. Either or both of which may be opened to empty the water tank, each at a constant rate. If T1 is opened, keeping T2 closed, the water tank initially full becomes empty in half an hour. If both T1 and T2 are kept open, the water tank initially full becomes empty in 20 minutes. Then the time in minutes it takes for the water tank which was initially full to become empty is T2, if T2 is open while T1 is closed is. Now I was a little distracted while reading this, therefore I'll kind of have to read this again. So generally this is a question, these kind of questions, when the paragraph is long, you need to be a little careful and you have to maintain your concentration while reading. However, when I read the in the bits and parts that I've read, I think this is a little doable question. So T1 and T2, either both of which may be opened and constant rate. T1 open, T2 closed. So T1 alone takes how much time? 30 minutes. Okay, and T1 and T2 together, T1 and T2 together takes 20 minutes. So how much time would it take if only T1 is filled? Now I think all of us here, I know there is a method called LCM method, but generally my observation is that IPMAT students are much faster in fraction and the reciprocal method. So I'll use that. 1 by 30 plus 1 by T2 is equal to 1 by 20, and you just need to solve this quickly. 1 by T2 is equal to 1 by 20 minus 1 by 30. The LCM would be 60. 3 minus 2, that is 1 by 60, and therefore T2 is nothing but 60. So hence the answer should be 60 minutes. When T2 alone is opened and T1 is closed, the time taken would be 60 minutes. Okay, I hope this makes sense to all of you. Okay, all right, let's move on towards the next question. A class consists of 30 students. Each of them has registered for 5 courses. Each course instructor conducts an exam out of 200 marks. The average percentage of marks of all 30 students across all courses they have registered for is 80%. 2 of them apply for reevaluation in a course. If none of their marks reduce and the average of all 30 students across all courses becomes 80.02, the maximum possible increase in marks for either of the 2 students is. Now, generally, whenever I see an arithmetic question, I always feel that I should attempt that question. Okay, so my inclination is that I should solve this question. Okay, I should solve this question, but again, let me just think. 30 students. Let me read carefully. 30 students, 5 courses, and each course is out of 200 marks. Average percentage marks of all 30 students across all courses they have registered for is 80%. So the marks are also 205 courses. Okay, what I'll do is I'll take this question up in round 2 because there are quite a lot of factors involved here. Okay, and plus there's also maximum. So in order to kind of avoid complexity right now, I'll leave this question. Till now I have solved 1, 2, 3 and 4 questions already. This was a type A question, clear, and this was also very easily doable type A question. Only the paragraph was long. The question was simple, straightforward, sitter. I'll keep this for round 2. What is the minimum number of weights which enables us to weigh any integer number of grams of gold from 1 to 100 on a standard balance with 2 pans, and weights can be placed only on the left pan? Now guys, this is a typical question. If you know this, you wouldn't even waste time on this question. You'll easily get the answer. If you don't know the trick for this question, or if you start thinking, it will take you some time to come to the answer. So the trick here is you are only allowed to keep the weights. So whatever it looks like, I don't know how do I kind of whatever draw it. Okay, but here you are allowed to keep the weights, and here you'll keep your whatever gold or whatever object needs to be weighed. Now, generally, you need to understand whenever you need the minimum number of pairs, how do you deal with it? If you will definitely want to weigh 1 gram, so you'll need a weight of 1 gram. Okay, but what if you need to weigh 2 grams? Can you weigh a 2 gram using 1 gram weight? No. So you'll need a 2 gram weight also. Okay, but so 1 is done, 2 is also solved. If I want to measure 3 grams, can it be done using 1 and 2? Can it be done using 1 and 2? Yes or no? So I think 1 plus 2 is 3. So therefore, I don't need any extra weight to measure 3 grams. Acha. But what if I want to measure 4 grams? If I want to measure 4 grams, I realize that 1 and 2 are insufficient. Now, instead of having another 1 gram, 4 gives me the flexibility to be able to measure more weight later on also. Na? So that's why I'll take the next weight to be 4 grams. So I'll be able to measure 4. Then 4 plus 1, I'll also be able to measure 5. Will I be able to measure 6? 4 plus 2 is 6 also. Will I be able to measure 7? 4 plus 2 plus 1 is 7. So you'll realize you'll be able to measure all the weights from 1 to 7. The next weight that we'll need is 8 grams. And all these are powers of 2. So if you have to, if you have to evaluate this, or if you have to come to this conclusion in the exam, a little lengthy. But if you knew this from before, you would already be able to answer this question without any, without any hiccups. You'll say, okay, to be able to measure, till 1 less than a power of 2. For example, to weigh till 15, I need 8 grams. To weigh till 31, I'll need weight of till 16 grams. Okay. To weigh 32, I'll need a 32. So that will allow me to weigh till 63 grams also. And to weigh till the next power of 2, that is 128 minus 1. For 127, I'll need 64 grams. And with this, I'll be able to measure any weight till 127. Now the question only required me to calculate weights from 1 to 100, but the last weight that I could have calculated using 32, using the weights till 32 was 63. For going beyond that, I'll have to add another weight. So therefore, I'll need one more weight. So I'll need how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weights in order to measure 1 to 100. If I want to find out, if I want to weigh them using the minimum number of weights. Okay. If I were allowed to weigh, using a lot of weights, I would have kept all the weights of 1 gram, 2 gram, 5 grams only, maybe, a lot of weights of 1 gram. But here, because I wanted the minimum number of weights and using those, I wanted to do that. I've done it this way. What if I want to measure? What if I were allowed to, keep weights here as well as here? Yes, none. That's what the rule is. Okay. So the number of weight basically to weigh till minimum weights. Okay, just to clarify, someone is saying I think if you've not got the trick, this is 1, this is 2 raised to the power 1, 2 raised to the power 0, 2 square. So if you want to, if you're allowed to keep weights only on one side and you want to calculate the minimum number of weights, take all weights to be powers of 2 and see how many minimum powers of 2 are required. That is what the trick is. Yes, you're absolutely right. And I thought, that is slightly obvious here. So for minimum weights, basically you'll take powers of 2 if you're only allowed to keep on one side. Okay. If you're allowed to keep on both sides, then what would be the weights? So ideally I want to measure 1 gram. How would I do that? I'll take a weight of 1 gram. Okay. But now instead of 2 grams, see, the bigger the weight you take, the better it is. So is it possible to measure 2 grams using a bigger weight instead of just 2 grams? So the trick here is 2 can also be calculated as if I keep 3 grams here and I keep 1 gram here. So the trick was whenever the next weight which is not possible, you calculate that as a difference of the bigger weight and the remaining weights. So if I want to calculate 2 using 1 with the difference, it will be 3 grams minus 1 gram, right? So if that is the case, I'll need one weight of 3 grams. Acha, if I have one weight of 3 grams, my problem for 3 grams is also done. My problem for 4 grams is also done, right? Because 3 plus 1 is 4. But what about 5 grams? Will I be able to measure 5 grams using 3 and 1? No, I've only kept one weight of 3 and one weight of 1. So that will allow me maximum of 4 grams. So can you create 5 grams as a difference of 4 and some other number? I have a maximum of 4. So if I keep all the 4 grams here and I have to measure 5, so I need a bigger number here. That should give me the difference as 5. You'll realize that difference would come out to be 9. 9 minus 4 is 5. So 4 grams plus the weight of the object should be 9 and it will get balanced. So I can say, okay, if I have another weight of 9 grams, okay, if I have another weight of 9 grams minus the 3 grams and minus the 1 gram would give me 5 grams. Similarly, 6 can be calculated as 9 minus 3. 7 calculated as 9 minus 3. And on the same side as 9, you also put 1. 9 plus 1 and minus 3. And similarly, 8 can be calculated as 9 minus 1 and 9 can be calculated. So you'll see all the weights would be possible and we'll be dealing in powers of 3. Right? Am I making sense? So if you get such a question in your exams, you should be able to handle that. Okay. Chalo. Next. So this was a type A for me, but this is a A/C. For someone, if it does not click, you can leave this and go ahead. Okay. Figuring this out in the exam can get a little tricky if you've not come across this or if you've not thought about this. Okay. But generally, most students should have thought about this. Okay. So the answer to this question is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weights were required to calculate all the weights from 1 to 100. Therefore, the answer is 7. Okay. We are allowed to keep weights only on one side. Okay. Chalo, moving on. If one of the lines given by the equation this coincides with one of those lines given by this, and the other line represented by them are perpendicular. Now, when solving parabola or hyperbola or ellipse questions or set of equations questions can as it is get a little tricky. Plus here you're not even given the coefficients of a and b. You are given that one pair of line is coinciding, the other line is perpendicular. Okay, so in such case what I'll do is I'll mark this for round 2 maybe. I am not very keen on trying this question here. Okay, so moving on. If a function f of a is equal to max of a comma 0, then the smallest integer value of x for which the equation f of x minus 3 plus 2 times of f of x plus 1 is equal to 8 holds true. F of a is maximum of a or 0. So it is either, if a is a positive number, that will be taken max, or if it is, or if a is negative, 0 would be taken. That is what it means. If I have interpreted that, I think understanding or interpreting the remaining question, how does it work? Okay, so I have f of x minus 3 plus 2 times of f of x plus 1, and that is equal to 8. So smallest integer value for this, for which this holds true. What I'll do is I'll simply try a few values, okay, because I don't think it will be, it will take me a lot of values to test this out. Also I know one more thing. I know a fact that this is the maximum of whatever. So if whatever is inside is negative, then output is 0. If whatever is inside is positive, output is that number itself. So if I put x equal to 0, this is f of minus 3 plus 2 times of f of 1. This would be 1 into 2, 2. Okay, if I put x equal to 1, this would be f of minus 2, that is 0 only, plus 2 times of f of 2. F of 2 would be 2 only, 2 into 2, that will be 4. And what I realize here is, when I'm taking x equal to 0, this part as it is negative, and this part again is a very small number, and it is increasing only if I take bigger values of x. So I just need to move a few values ahead, x equal to 2, and this would be f of minus 1 plus 2 times of f of 2 plus 1, that is 3. So this would be 6. And if I take x equal to 3, this would be f of 0, which is 0, plus 2 times of f of 4, that is nothing but 4 into 2, 8. And this is the first case where you're getting the function, the expression as the sum of these two functions as 8, and that therefore the minimum value of x for which this holds true is x equal to 3. I think this was a very simple question, only it was appearing scary because there was a max involved. So if there is a different kind of a question, just see if there is a pattern or not. Generally, many a times, you'll see function based questions would have a pattern, and that's why you should try and solve them. So this question, again, a type A question, you should solve this in the first round. In a class, 60% and 68% of students pass their physics and maths exams respectively. Then at least what percentage of students passed both their physics and maths examinations? This is a very common question type you would have come across. Okay, physics and maths, 60, 68. Okay, and what is the least number? Okay, so the formula, a plus b plus a intersection b, sorry, minus a intersection b plus n is equal to the total, right? This is what it is when you have this. And here the total would be 100% because all the values are in percentage terms. If I ignore the percentages, 60 plus 68, 128 minus a intersection b plus n is equal to 100. And from here I know a intersection b is equal to 100 comes on this side, that is 28 plus n. Okay, so I wanted the minimum value of this. I'll need the minimum value of this. And what can be the minimum value of n? N can be, so n minimum can be 0. If n minimum is 0, a intersection b, the minimum value would be equal to 28. And from logic also you should know that the intersection is generally the least when this part is the least. Okay, now can someone logically explain to me, if for this to be minimum, for the intersection to be minimum, why the outer part should be minimum? Logically, okay, not mathematically, logically. And for this to be maximum, why the outer part should be, or why the non-intersect, or external part should be maximum? So for min, this should also be min. For max, this should also be max. Logically, not mathematically. Anyone wants to explain? Any logic here that you see? All right. See, the total number of people is fixed, right? The total number. So imagine these two to be disjoint sets. Okay. 10 and 20. Okay. So how many people are there if they are disjoint? If they are disjoint, how many people are there in the two sets together? Set A and set B. So what is A union B ka number? Or can you tell me, suppose n outside is 0 for that matter. So what can you comment about A plus B? Sorry, what can you comment about the total? I'm so sorry. The total I'll simply say would be 10 plus 20, right? Or which is nothing but 30. Okay. Now suppose the total number remains the same, but they start intersecting. Now if they intersect, the total number of people is still the same, 30. But because they have intersected, the number of people belonging to the two sets together has reduced, because you can't double count the same person. So therefore, if the intersection increases, the people who are not a part of both the sets would also increase, because this 10 and this 20 is fixed. So intersection would ensure, or intersection would mean that you are not earlier you were double counting the values. Now you will be able to count, basically when there's intersection, you can't count the same person twice. So therefore, some numbers would get added outside. So that is why, when the intersection is maximum, the outer part would also be maximum. Okay. Okay, just one moment. Yeah. 30 was the answer to this one, right? The answer to this question is 28 only, the original question. I hope that is clear, everyone. Percentage word is written over here, so the answer is simply 28. Yes. All right. So in round 1, we were able to attempt how many questions? 1, 2 minutes for, maximum 1.5 minutes for this one. Suppose say 2 minutes, you took a lot of time to read. You took time to find out pattern. Still you'll take 2 minutes. If you're fast enough, you'll take 1 minute only. So 2 minutes here. Not attempted. I read this and spent half an hour, half a minute here, or 1 minute here. Chalo, 5 minutes gone. Solving this, if I knew the answer, I'll not take more than a minute. Still, I tried to derive an answer and I got to the answer in 2 minutes. So 9 minutes gone. Sorry, 7 minutes gone. I read the question twice. I wasted a minute here. 8 minutes gone. This was a sitter question, but I had to read it, so I took 2 minutes. 10 minutes gone. I can't take more than a minute here. I still assign it 2 minutes. 12 minutes gone. 2 minutes for this one for identifying a pattern. 14 minutes gone. This one was lengthy. I took 3 minutes for this one. 17 minutes gone. I've read this. I tried to think about it. 18 minutes gone. So let's say 20 minutes are done, and we are still left to attempt 2, 3 questions are left. So 20 minutes done and 7 questions are done. We are left to attempt 3 questions. Let us come back to it. The number of positive integers which divide 1890, 130 and 170 and are not divisible by 45 is, okay, so the number of positive integers which divide this multiplication and are not divisible by 45. Here I think I know what to do. I know I have to find out the number of factors, and I have to subtract the number of factors which are divisible by 45. All right, let me quickly check. I know how to find out the number of, I've solved such questions independently. I've solved such questions. I found out the question number of factors of this number which are divisible by 45, but taking the difference would involve 2 steps. Okay, let's quickly do it. 1890 is nothing but 189 into 10. 189 is divisible by 9, 9 into 21, or which is nothing but 27 into 7. So 27 is 3 cube. 10 contains a 2 into a 7. Okay, 130 is 13 into 10. Again, and 2 into 5, sorry. So there's a 5 also, and there's a 7. 130 again is 10 into 13. So 10 would add a power of 2 and 5 and 13 would get introduced. 170 again is 10 into 17. So again a power of 2 gets added, 2 cube, 5 cube and a 17. So the net factorization is 2 cube into 3 cube into 5 cube into 7 into 13 into 17. Okay, this is the net factorization of this number, and therefore the number of factors would be 4, 3 plus 1, 4, 3 plus 1, 4, 3 plus 1, 4 into 1 plus 1, 2 into 1 plus 1, 2 into 1 plus 1, 2. So 4, 4, 4, 2, 2, 2. These are powers of 2. 2 raised to the power 2, 2 raised to the power 4, 2 raised to the power 6, 7, 8, 9. And which is nothing but 512. So this number has 12 factors, out of which how many are divisible by 45? So if the number has to be divisible by 45, it should be divisible by 5 into 3 square. So I'll have to reduce powers of 3 by 2 because I want the number to be divisible by 3 square. So I'll take out a 3 square and I'll take out a 5. I'll keep it outside because I want the factors to be divisible by it. So basically 2 cube into 3 into 5 square into 7 into 13 into 17. If I calculate the number of factors of this part, that would be the that will give me the number of factors which are divisible by 45 because each of them will get multiplied by 45 and become divisible by 45. So number of factors here would be 4 into 2 into 3 into 2 into 2 into 2. Number of factors are, all of you know, number of factors are power plus 1, power plus 1, power plus 1 when you write the number in terms of prime factors. So basically if the number is a to the power p plus 1 into, or a to the power p into b to the power q into c to the power r, then the number of factors are p plus 1 into q plus 1 into r plus 1. So I'm assuming that all of you know this, right? Having said that, we did this calculation and we get to the answer as 8 into 8, 64, 64 into 3 is 192, and therefore out of the total factors, if I remove the factors which are divisible by 45, I should get my answer, and hence my answer should be 512 minus 192, which would give me the answer as I subtract 200, I subtract 202 and add a 10. So if I subtract 202, that gives me 310 and add a 10, so that will be 320, and therefore my answer should be 320 for this question. Please check my calculation. Sometimes in a flow of things, I might do the calculations incorrect. Okay. 5 square would be the prime factorization and not 5 cube. No, yeah, this also contains a 5. This also contains a 5. This also contains a 5. Have I done any calculation mistake, guys? Kunj, can you just check? It should IQ be 5 only. Okay. So let us go ahead. Okay. Next. So ideally this should not take more than 3 or 4 minutes. Okay. So 3 to 4 minutes. So definitely 8 questions were doable. Okay. Now the 9th or the 10th question, you need to decide what is your capabilities and what is your capacity. A class consists of 30 students. Each of them had registered for 5 courses. Each course instructor conducts an exam out of 200 marks. Okay. So can I say 1% is actually 2 marks? Okay. 1% in any subject is 2 marks. Okay. Keep that in mind. Now, the average marks of all 30 students across the 5 courses. So can I say it is the average is 80% for 150 courses or 150 numbers? Average of, is this, can I say this is the average of 150 numbers? Average of 150 numbers or 150 percentage values is 80%. Is it correct? Is it a correct interpretation? right? There are 30 students and each of them had 5 courses. So there are 150 marks out of 200 each. And the average percentage or the average percentage across all students across all courses is 80. So basically I'm taking the average of 150 percentage scores, right? And if none of their two students apply for reevaluation, none of their marks reduce. The average of all 30 students across all courses became 80.02. Can I say basically 0.02% increase in average for how many values? For 150 values. Am I right? Am I right in interpreting this? If this is understood, can I logically say the change in the increase in average is this much, therefore the increase in total would be how much? Increase in total would be how much? Increase in total is nothing but increase in average into the number of values. And increase in average was 0.02% into 150 values. If I do this, this comes out to be how much? This comes out to be 0.02 into 150, that is 0.2% of 15, or basically 2% of or rather, simply 0.02 percent, right? So that's percentage, and the percentage is out of 200. So can I say 0.02 into 150, and each percentage is 2 marks. So ultimately it simply means 2 into 150 300, and into 0.02, that comes out to be 6. So the increase in total marks is the total increase in marks is 6 marks. Why 6 marks? Because you had 0.02% of 150 and 1% is 2 marks. So instead of 1%, I can simply substitute 2 marks. So if I do the calculation, 2 into 150 is 300 into 0.02. Ultimately, it will reduce to 2 into 3, that is 6 marks. So the total has increased by 6 marks for all the students, and this has happened because of 2 students. Okay, and 2 students in one course each. So across 2 courses out of the 150, or 2 values out of 150, the maximum increase is how much? They've given you that none of the marks reduced. It means if for a maximum increase in one of the marks, one of them could have a 0 change, the other one could have the entire change. Therefore, the maximum increase is max increase for one student is nothing but 6 marks, keeping in mind that the other student would have a 0 marks increase. Right? Am I making sense? Nand, you are absolutely right. Okay. So once this is understood, I'll also discuss one very direct method to deal with it. If this is understood, I'll just erase all of it. So what Nand is saying is also very right. What he's saying, the average has increased by 0.02. So 0.02 percentage of what? Can I say it is 0.02% of 150 into 200 marks? Because it has increased by it has increased for 150 courses of 200 marks each. So if you just do the calculation, 0.02 and the 200s could get balanced, this would become a 2, and ultimately 2% of 300, this would simply come out to be 6 marks. So whichever way you calculate this 6 marks the fastest is your skill. But if you are able to calculate this very quickly, you've got the total increase. Now the total increase has happened for 2 students. For one student to have the maximum possible increase, the other should not have any increase, and hence the maximum increase for one of the students is 6 marks. Okay. So this should not take more than 2 to 3 minutes. Also, again, So just the interpretation was lengthy. If you are good at this interpretation part, you could have done this as a round 1 question also. Okay, 2 to 3 minutes, I'm so sorry, and the answer would be 6. Okay, next, this one we did, this one we are still left to do. Okay, now this one is a little tricky one. One of the lines is given, if one of the lines given by the set of equations this coincides with another line, coincides with one of the lines of this set of equations, then the lines represented by them are perpendicular, and the other lines represented by them are perpendicular. Then a square plus b square is what? Okay, now all right, so here the thing is, I've been given that there are two lines which are coinciding. So can I say there are two lines which which basically, first of all, when I say a set of equation or set of straight lines, it is like equation of the first line into the equation of the second line equal to 0. Okay, so that is what is a set of equations, or that is why you see a quadratic and they're saying that this represents a set of straight lines. Okay, equation, basically one of the lines of this set of equations, set of straight lines. So for that you need to understand this represents a pair of straight lines. So this has two straight lines integrated in it, and this one again has two straight lines in it itself. And they're saying that one of the straight lines of this set and one of the straight lines of this set are the same line, and the other pair of straight lines is perpendicular. Now there are two ways to go about it. You solve it, or you try to think a little smart. You see, first of all, there is no constant term in this set. Okay, even if one of the equations, and there's no x term or there's no y term. So for example, ax plus by plus c and dx plus ey plus f, if I multiply them, even if suppose if both of them have a constant term, c into f would remain, right? But that's not happening. So if one of them does not have a constant term, there'll be c into x and there'll be c into y, but there's also no only x term and only y term. It clearly means both the straight lines have no constant term involved in them, and both the straight lines are of the type a1x plus b1y equal to 0 and a2x plus b2y equal to 0. Basically both the straight lines are passing through origin. Only then you can get such a pair of straight lines. So both the set of equations don't have any line which does not pass through the origin. Okay, so this makes first of all our task a little easier. The next thing is either we solve it completely or we try to do a little smart breakup. So if I try to do a smart breakup of it, a smart breakup of things, what I could think of is, just like you have this quadratic equations. This is a quadratic polynomial in x and y, and powers of x are increasing, powers of y are decreasing. So it will factorize into two terms of x and y, and you kind of you can apply the same rules as quadratic. So the first term and the last term, the square terms, have a product 6, and the middle is a. The first and the last have a product -6, and the middle value is b. If I try to get some integer values only, if I don't want to get into very complicated stuff, because generally short answer questions, your answers or your values are not very complicated. If I try to think of any integer values to be able to split this, what integer values can you think for a? 2x square plus axy plus 3y square equal to 0. If I have to factorize this in a good manner, 3 into 2 6, what could be the middle term? Can I say a can be a 7, because 2x square plus 7xy plus 3y square can be split, and I can split this as basically this as 6 and 1. So I'll get 2x square plus 6xy plus xy plus 3y square, and then I could take a 2x common, and from here I'll take a y common, so 2x plus y, and from here I'll get the other term that I'll get would be x plus 3y, right? This could be one way of factorizing. Any other value of a which is possible? Any other value of a which is possible? Guys, anyone? If I were to have to split this, to be able to factorize it in a normal way. Okay, so Jharna says 5. I could have taken a to be 5. If I take a to be 5, that would have become 2x square plus 5xy plus 3y square equal to 0. And then if I factorize this or solve this, I'll have to split this as 2xy and 3xy. So 2x square and 2xy, I'll take the 2x common, and from here 3x square plus 3xy plus 3y square, I'll take the 3y common. So 2x plus 3y, and the other term would be what? The other term here would be the other term which would remain after the split would be so here I'll be taking the 2x common, so there'll be a x, and from here if I'll be from the 2xy, if I'll take the xy common, 2x common, I'll have a y, so that will be x plus y. Okay, so for the first equation I'm getting two cases. It could either be this equal to 0 and it could be this equal to 0. So the straight lines are this and this, or this and this for the first one. If I have the split that I'm getting. For the second line again, 2x square. Now second line, this is the second line. So here I'm getting a is equal to 7 or 5. What about b? Now this I'm solving for b. So b is 2x square plus bxy minus 3y square. Okay, minus 3y square. So here, what kind of values can I take for? Acha, see, a could be plus or minus 7 and plus or minus 5 also, because that's fine. But for our answer, square is important. So therefore, I'm not taking the plus minus values. Okay. Similarly, what could be the middle value here? 2x and minus 3y. I want 2x and minus 3. So I want the multiplication to be minus 6. So two numbers whose difference is 6, and whose two numbers whose difference is b, and the multiplication is 6. So 2 and minus 3, it could be 1. 2 and 3 have a difference of 1, or it could be 2 and 1 into 6. Two numbers whose multiplication is 6 and the difference is the middle term b. So two numbers whose multiplication is 6 as 1 and 6. So the difference could be 5 also. If I take b to be 1, it could be 2x square plus bxy minus 3y square, or it could be 2x square plus plus b ki jagah I'm taking 1 over here, and here I'm taking 5xy minus 3y square equal to 0. Let me see if I'm able to get any values here. What would be the factorization here? I'll split this as 3xy minus xy. 3xy minus 2xy. So 2x square plus 3xy. I'll get 2x square plus 3xy. I'll only be able to get x common, and minus 2xy minus 3y square. I'll only be able to get y common outside. So that will be x minus y. From here I was taking 2x common, and from here I was taking minus. I'm so sorry. I think while trying to do it in a little hurry, I'm kind of making a waste out of it. I'll just be a little good about it. So I'll split this as minus 3 and plus 3 and minus 2. So if I split this as plus 3 and minus 2, the factorization that I'll get would be 2x square plus 3xy. So that would basically 2x square plus 3xy minus 2xy minus 3y square equal to 0. And I'll take the 2x, the x common from here, and I'll get 2x plus 3y. I'll take the minus y common here. Again, I'll get 2x plus 3y. So there'll be a 2x plus 3y. and there'll be another line which would be x minus y equal to 0. If I just stop at this case and I compare it with any of the above, does this have a common line with any of the above factorization? So it has a common line with this one, and it has a perpendicular line over here as well. So can I say if I go ahead with this case and this case, the condition is satisfied? For this case, the A was 5, and for this case, the B is 1, and both the conditions are satisfied, if I'm not wrong. Right? Both the conditions are satisfied, 2x plus 3y, 2x plus 3y, and x plus y and x minus y are perpendicular to each other. So two lines are coinciding and two lines are perpendicular. For that to happen, I'm getting the condition as one of the values is 5 and the other values is 1. So 5 square plus 1 square, the answer should be 26. Now again, to be able to get this split in the exam is slightly difficult or tricky. Therefore, this is a true type B or a type C question from the exam perspective. Okay. And that is how, I think out of the 10 questions, 9 questions were easily doable in the limited time. And even if you miss out on one of the percentage, averages question or maybe the weights question, 7 to 8 should have been a good attempt out of 10. And you should at least, you should have been at least able to get 6 questions correct. Okay. So good score in this would at least be, good score would be 24 plus, and good attempts would be 8 plus. You attempt 8 questions, maybe 1 or 2 go wrong because of calculations or any reason, but a 24 plus would only be a good score here. Okay, minimum 24 plus. Okay. I took 13 minutes, Kundan, because I was explaining it to you. I am not solving the question in the exam. Okay. So can I give a shortcut for this? There is no shortcut. That was the point of this question. Okay. So because there is no point, there is no short direct method here which you could apply standardized in a standardized way across all questions. I think this question is best left in the exam. All right. So these were the 10 questions. My preparation tips for everyone here would be: point number 1, solve all past papers without fail. So solve 2019, 2020, 2021 and 2022 papers without fail. We are going to discuss this in the YT live as well as the Zoom sessions. Okay. The second thing is you need to solve the past mocks. Okay. You need to solve the mocks, not the past mocks. Basically, you need to solve at least 10 plus mocks. And if you've been solving regularly, then you should solve all the 15 IMS mocks, to be able to get that practice. And third thing is the IPM special sessions. And, importance should be given, priority should be given to this first. You should not miss out on solving these 4 papers before the exam. You should not solve less than 10 mock tests before the exam, and you should try and cover all the IPM special sessions before the exam. If that is possible, do that. If not, your priority should be priority number 1 this, priority number 2 this, and then the parallelly, you obviously this is as a plan. You won't take all the 10 mock tests on the same day. So parallelly, you would be solving IPM special sessions, the class assignment and the home assignments. But your priority should be, your plan should be that you solve IPM special sessions in such a way that you are still able to attempt 10 plus mock tests. You will never be able to attempt all the mock tests until you are, after you are completely ready. You will never feel fully prepared or fully ready for the test. But you have to take that plunge, you have to take that leap of faith and take the mock tests, even if you feel that you are not completely ready, and try to see where you stand on the basis of that current preparation. Okay. So that is all from my side today. The next paper for you would be on the 5th of June. That is Indore 21 actual QA MCQ. So I hope all of you would be able to complete the solving before the session, and we'll meet again on Monday with this session. All right. So unless you have any questions, we can end the session. Anyone here, any questions? All right. So all the best. And I hope this was a helpful session. Thanks, Jharna, for acknowledging. Bye, Neil. Have a very good evening, guys. Take care. Hoping to see you soon. Bye-bye.